Hello, I'm at the British Film Institute, the BFI South Bank, for the launch of a Blake 7 Blu-ray. All right, okay, or it was. It's a bit too late now. It's too late and it's too dark. All right, I've been talking too much, really, okay? Too late, too dark to film. And now it's actually Saturday night on London's South Bank. This car park is the only place for miles where you could possibly hear me. But it's here, and while we can talk, Blake 7, right, it's one of those things where you've seen this, an old TV show, right? It's been remastered, been tarted up, really, and made to look great. Now, I just saw 2 episodes of this on a cinema screen. It looks so good looking there. But I do also have this extremely nice iPad, and I would like, please, to watch the rest of the series on its utterly gorgeous display. But you can't watch Blu-ray on iPad, except you can. If you don't already know how to do it, let me show you. And since I'll tell you now, it's a little more fiddly than might be worth your time. Let's also talk through every way you can watch anything on your iPad, and especially if it's in a form or format, some medium that Apple doesn't handle. Hello, I'm William Gallagher, and this is 58 Keys, which, as ever, as always, is for writers like you and me, who use and who write and now also watch things on Macs and iPhones, particularly today, iPads. Do please subscribe, like, or patronise me, because we do actually have quite a bit to talk about. Starting with this, well, Apple's iPad, right, it will play so much out of the box, get on with it, watch loads, but it won't play everything. And the most common issue is that it won't play Blu-ray or DVD discs. There is no physical way to make it do that. I mean, you could, actually, versus USB-C, you could plug an external Blu-ray drive. You might need an adapter to connect it to the USB-C port on the iPad, since, well, most of the drives that I've seen, external drives for this, have come with the larger, the older USB-A. But so what? You'd still be wasting your time, because the iPad won't do anything with it. You'll find, I mean, if you really get detailed here, the drive will spin up, but only because it's getting power from the iPad. It won't actually work. Many Blu-ray discs, including that Blake 7 one, they come with extras like PDF documentation. You can't even see those. You can't get into the disc to get anything. And you certainly can't play a Blu-ray because, okay, the iPad hardware won't recognize the disc, but then the iPad software wouldn't know what to do with it, even if it could. So, this is one of a couple of things I want to show you where you have to have a Mac as well. Why would I hesitate about that? It's an expensive thing to add just for this, but Macs, yeah. Although actually Macs won't play Blu-rays either, not straight out of the box, but still, you need a Mac. Because the job becomes ripping the Blu-ray onto the Mac and then taking that massive video file and moving it onto the iPad. First, rip your Blu-ray, well, buy a Blu-ray disc, then rip it. I will put a link to the external Blu-ray drive I use in the description, because at least I can tell you that one works, or works for me. Blu-ray drives are not necessarily all the same, and seemingly not all of them work with Macs, but they should. Plenty do. And then on the Mac, you need Blu-ray ripping software, and this time, actually, no. I'm not going to give you a link to the one I used for this, because I don't know what it is, but Blu-ray apps on the Mac are just not very good. They're suboptimal. I mean, I've tried a few, I must be wrong, but the ones I've tried, each time I get the impression that they were made for Windows first and then ported over to the Mac, and somehow it's like the apps resent that they're on the Mac. I mean, for instance, the real reason I won't link this one is the one I used this time for Blake 7 wouldn't quit. Is there a more basic Mac function than quit? How do Windows users put up with this stuff? Anyway, also, I don't remember now, that was a new app I was trying. I don't remember now which one I've used for this before. I just remember it kind of working, but clunkily, yeah. But they were both free apps. There are so many free Blu-ray Mac apps around. But in this case, and quite often, it might be only free for a few uses, and then you have to pay after that. And I would. Of course I'd pay for software. If I ever find a Blu-ray Mac app that doesn't make me want to slap it, I will pay. But whichever app a Google search finds for you, they all work in the same way, and they all have the same issues. which is chiefly around this. Blu-rays are not made to be ripped, and actually some of them are very pointedly made to not be ripped. Those ones are protected from ripping, and nothing you can do about it, and it's not unreasonable, is it really? It's, you know, there is this grey area. Plex 7 here. This is my Blu-ray set. I bought this. All I'm doing is watching it on the device of my choosing. But to do that, I am ripping it off the physical form and putting it somewhere else, and it's really wobbly. Whether that's completely, totally, fully legal. What is legal and what is illegal and what is clear is if you take someone else's Blu-ray and you rip that, you're off my Christmas list. But then beyond this, as well as protected or not so protected, the very format of a Blu-ray is not meant to be examined by an app. It's the same with DVD. In fact, I should say this. Everything I'm talking about Blu-ray applies to DVD discs as well. And with DVD or Blu-ray, every ripping app will give you this list. They'll scan the disc and give you a list of, you know, which bits are on there that you might want to rip. I have not one thin clue how you're supposed to know. I mean, the biggest ones, yeah, you rip everything. Now, when this Plex 7 example started, it did tell me it was going to take 11 hours to do it. I put the MacBook next to me and it droned on, vibrated in the desk. But in the end, only for 2 or 3 hours. I mean, it was long enough, but, you know, progress bars. What is the point? When it's done with the droning and the ripping, what you end up with is a folder full of very large video files. All of them named, of course, none of them named legibly, usually. You have to watch each of them to see what they are or what they aren't. On a Mac, click to select one and then tap the space bar. Quick Look, as it's called in macOS, will then give you a preview. It will play the video, really, so you can see what it is. And what it is will be, well, you'll find there are duplicates. There will typically be 2 copies of, you know, what appears to be the same main video for it, and I truly do not know why. But you go through this list, you throw away the duplicates, and you throw away the smaller videos, things like Blu-ray menus. Chuck them away, end up with something. And actually, in this case, there's some things that are sometimes surprising. I found a Blu-ray extra on the disc that I wasn't expecting, so label that. I will watch that properly later as well. Now, you've got a folder with a few. You cut it down to just a few large files. Time to get it over from the Mac to the iPad, and I'm getting quite excited here, aren't I? I'm sorry. There are 2 ways to do this, one of which I think causes physical pain sometimes, and one of which might cost you a little bit of money. The painful way is AirDrop. Now, AirDrop is fantastic. The ability to just take a video or a document or anything and say you want to send it from your Mac to your iPad or from your iPhone to your Mac or any combination of all of these, totally fantastic. Nearly totally fantastic. Sometimes, and who knows why, AirDrop just refuses to work. I have found occasionally that if you just put the 2 devices to sleep and then immediately wake them up again, whether that fixes it and works, but sometimes it's just no way. In that case, you give up and come back the next day. That's my best solution for AirDrop. Which actually, though, kind of fits in with the other way, waiting a long time for it. AirDrop is not quick. Okay, when AirDrop works, it's still not quick, and video files are very, very big. So if you can, the better route is to have one of these, an external drive. You plug a little thing like this into your Mac, copy the files onto this, and then copy it onto the iPad. Yeah, you get the idea. Except the iPad will still not play those video files. It will not recognize the format of them. So there is a last thing to do, which is to download a free iPad app that will recognize the format and play it. There are actually quite a few of these, I think, but the one to get, the one that's been around the longest, the most reliable, it's VLC. Link in the description. VLC is a free video player for iPad and Macs, PCs and all sorts of things. It does apparently have some facility for ripping discs, but not in such a straightforward way as dedicated rubbish ripping apps. The real benefit of VLC is it just plays any type of video, which I think needs an explanation. Forgive me if you know this and the technical reasons behind it better than I do. It's just I know that I can be sent video in all sorts of different formats. The National Trust, for example, they once sent me an hour-long documentary that I'm featured and I was interviewed for, and it came in a Windows format, I think it is, a .avi. Other videos are .mkv, not a clue what it stands for. There are dozens, there might be hundreds of these things. Doubtlessly, they each have advantages. I know they each have their fans. I just also know VLC will play them all. So, sometimes VLC, I mean, I'm praising VLC, but occasionally it's a little bit fiddly. Sometimes, for example, when I was doing this on the iPad, it doesn't seem to work if you find the video file first and then use the iPad's open with option to send it off to VLC. But then it did seem to work if you start off in VLC and use its open file. Yeah, you go back and forth. Who knows why things are like this. Whichever way it is, whichever way it opens, once it's in VLC, away off you go. You can have a good time watching. All of which means, ideally, you need an external drive. Certainly, you need a Mac. Certainly, you need some Blu-ray or DVD ripping app for the Mac, and you need an external Blu-ray drive. You also need the Blu-ray, don't you? And you need an iPad. They've just run the complete list there. All of that to watch Blu-ray on your... If you already have all of this, all it does is it takes some time to do. And actually, most of it, the 2-3 hours, I was off doing something else for it. In my case, I did have to buy an external Blu-ray drive, but as it turns out, I needed it for a certain job. So in my head, it was for that, and this was a bonus. And so I already had that in the end. I had everything else. This was worth it to me. It just might well not be if you don't happen to have all of this gear, or if you also don't have any other need for it. I mean, apart from the Blu-ray drive and the ripping app, I've used all of the rest. I mean, the external drive, the Mac, I'm using all of this stuff for work. And, well, actually, sorry, I'm using it for work, and we're here supposed to be talking about watching things to relax. Watching things, especially if Apple does not support it. I've a little bit more to show you about a way to get around Apple's limitations on the iPad. And then also, I would like please to race through a few things where actually Apple does have your back, except one where I don't think anybody expects you to be able to do this, but you can. Yeah, okay, you just want to know about that last one, don't you? The one where nobody thinks you can. YouTube. Don't ask me how, but I can. Do you know, actually, I can tell you watch YouTube. What is it? If you have a Mac, again, you need a Mac. Well, you can always download YouTube videos to watch them later or to keep them, watch them while you're away, for example, almost always. Again, this doesn't work every time and it's not predictable, but it's practically never failed for me, and the solution is Downie for Mac. Downie is an app that costs $20, or it's available through Setup. And what you do is you copy the YouTube URL of the video, pop it into Downie, wait a minute, there you go, off you pop. Just as with Blu-rays, you will often get a long list of files to download, and they won't necessarily be easy to understand. There'll be some subtitle files, there might be different language versions. You could get them all, or you could just grab the largest files. And the thing is, when you've done it a couple of times, you get used to what does work for you, what you do want. And I can tell you, actually, at least one 58 Keys Patreon member downloads every 58 Keys edition with Downie and watches them later at his convenience on a device of his convenience. And I can also tell you this, if you're on any website with any embedded video, there's a good chance that Downie will be able to download it for you. But back to things that Apple does not support, at least not by default. The last thing to tell you about in this line is Plex. Plex is a streaming service, but the thing is, it's your streaming service. Where is it? Over here, I have a 10 terabyte hard drive packed with thousands of DVDs and episodes of TV shows that I've collected over the years. It isn't plugged in now because actually, no more than the Blu-ray drive, it vibrates so much that it makes a noise you can hear on these videos. So I remember to unplug it. Yeah, must figure that out sometime. But when I do have the drive plugged in, and when I do have the Plex software running on this Mac, I can watch any of those thousands of hours of film and television right here, right on the Mac. Pretty much regardless of what format the video was originally in, because Plex converts the video into a format that is playable on Macs. And what's great, what's really the reason for Plex, instead of just, opening the disc yourself, is that it will play that video across your Mac or your iPad or your iPhone or your Apple TV. With that drive plugged in here to my Mac, I can be in my living room downstairs watching any or all of it right there. Streamed from right here, watched to right there. And I can stream it to my iPad and to my iPhone pretty much as easily. Now, streaming it to my Apple TV, right, in my same household as my office, means going across my Wi-Fi network, and it just does that fine. Streaming to iPad or iPhone while I'm in the house could be the same, but usually I'm outside somewhere, and it means streaming all of this stuff across the internet. And if you are away from home and your home Wi-Fi, you do need to do a couple of things. You have to set up Plex on your Mac to allow remote streaming, for instance, and you need to get the Plex app for iPhone or iPad. And plus, for mobile devices, there is a one-time charge of £4.99 or dollars to activate that iPhone or iPad app. Don't know why they phrase it in that way, but they do. After that one-time charge, you can watch anything, anywhere you are, which you'd think might save you a step or two with the Blu-ray or the DVD videos. There's no copying across, and it could, but it won't. The thing is that Plex can handle these video files, right? They can handle the files that you rip from the Blu-ray, and so yes, it can stream them to your iPad wherever you are in the world, but those videos are going to be big files. There's a lot to stream, so you need good Wi-Fi both at your Mac's end and at the iPads wherever you are. And depending on where you are, you might not be able to watch anything at all. You might not be able to stream anything from your Mac. So ripping the Blu-ray discs and physically copying them onto the iPad, physically copying the video files over to the iPad is still necessary. I'm going on holiday later this year, and I'm going to be on a ship. Actually, I'm going to be on a ship off the coast of Norway. I don't expect to be able to get strong Wi-Fi to stream video from my Mac here, and certainly not without paying, for expensive, premium Wi-Fi services and things. So that clearly is why I am ripping some discs to bring along with me. But there are just two more options that I will be relying on and that I would like to suggest to you for watching things on your iPad. One is to just buy the films or TV shows directly from Apple's iTunes store. I have done this quite a bit. I don't like, actually, the iTunes store anymore, though, because it's become so hard to find anything on it. It'll give you top 10s, it'll give you categories, but you used to be able to just browse through thousands upon thousands upon thousands of films and shows. And now it's almost like you have to know exactly which title you want. You certainly have to be a bit more specific. If you just want to noodle around, you just want to browse for something, I think it's a bit poor now, actually. I mean, I'm being a bit harsh, a little bit harsh. You don't have to know the film, the writer, the year of release or whatever. You can just search on the Apple TV app for rom-coms from the 1980s, and it will show you a list of everything it can. It's just, you can't always tell immediately what's a film that is streaming on a service that you already subscribe to, or streaming on one that you don't, or is something you need to buy. And then I found if I do this from my Apple TV at home, where it should be the easiest, I think, if I try to buy a movie there, it isn't clear whether the search is returning every version of the film. So you do find the movie you looked for, but there may be another version with extras, or it might be available in a box set with some others that you want. And being sure what you found, it's so hard. And then there's also the picture quality. I mean, you see there, I have 2 copies of some films because they were released and were then re-released in higher quality. Not unreasonably, you now get the highest quality version possible when you buy, okay? But then also, now that I have an M5 iPad Pro with this spectacular display, I do want to be sure I found that highest quality. Even if I bought the film before, I want to get the new one now. This, for instance, This is a favourite film of mine, Kissing Jessica Stein, and it looks good on the screen. But the only version available on the iTunes Store is in HD quality, whereas Arrival, for example, is in 4K HDR, and it looks stunning. I mean, okay, nothing you can do, get the highest quality you can, but what you can definitely do is this. Before you go away, go into the iTunes Store for a new film or one you bought before, look for this button, download it to your iPad. You can actually do the same thing from some, but not all streamers. The thing is, before you go, stock up on what you've got so that your iPad is full of things to watch. Although, please remember, you did kind of go away on holiday to get away from screens, didn't you? Didn't you? Didn't I? That's it for this edition of 58 Keys from a car park in London. Sorry, you heard the hesitation there. Forget Blake 7. I grew up watching Danger Mouse. Do you know it? Every time I say the word London, for any reason, in my head I hear the narrator continuing saying, London, England, home of the world's greatest secret agent, and you're just looking at me. No, okay, all right, true, you didn't need to know that. Whereas you do need to know to write more. I don't care that I'm projecting, actually. It is true of both of us. We need to write more, don't we? And you need to take better care of yourself, okay? Now, if you know Blake 7, this will make sense. And if you don't, well, you work with me. Wait a second. Liberator, bring me up. I'll see you soon.